Now, I want you to understand this very keenly, even before we begin this particular analysis. Fred Matiangi endorsing William Ruto or not for the 2027 general elections will not make any political impact on President William Ruto's side. But Fred Matiangi endorsing President William Ruto will be for the political interest of Fred Matiangi himself. I'm saying this because President William Ruto will still win the 2027 general elections with or without Fred Matiangi's support. And because of political survival can be very, very dangerous. The former cabinet secretary for Interior, Fred Okengo Matiangi himself. Fred Matiangi, who was made by Uhuru Kenyatta to be the most powerful man during the handshake government. Fred Matiangi was more powerful than even the deputy president, by then William Ruto, whereby we would see Fred Matiangi receiving the president instead of his DP. We would see Fred Matiangi lecturing William Ruto like a kid in public, and William Ruto will do nothing.
I frankly don't like spending time commenting on some of these flippant and petty political things, because a lot of people lie all the time. You know, some of them now lie like a career. You know, it's like that's what they went to school to be trained. You saw those lies yesterday. You know, people lying, they lie about anything. They can't tell you anything. Probably the only truth about them is their name. They lie all the time. It's saying things that don't exist.
That is exactly how powerful Fred Matiangi was. The Ministry of Interior was very, very powerful than the office of the Deputy President. That is how the former head of state, Uhuru Kenyatta, wanted it to be. Why do you really think Fred Matiangi behaved like this? Fred Matiangi was being misled. He was being misadvised. Fred Matiangi was being used by the handshake government, Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga, to frustrate, to humiliate William Samoei Ruto. Fred Matiangi agreed to be used to please Uhuru Kenyatta and Raila Odinga. He wanted to prove his loyalty to his bosses, Uhuru and Raila Odinga, because he knew very well that Raila Odinga would win the previous 2022 general elections. Fred Matiangi supporting Uhuru and Raila Odinga, he thought he was safe so that he can still remain in power. In fact, all the cabinet secretaries during the handshake government who supported Azimio, they wanted to still remain in power. That is what we call political survival. But currently, let me ask you, where exactly is Fred Matiangi? And when last did you see or hear about Fred Matiangi? Is Fred Matiangi still the kingpin of the Gusii community or region? And do you really think that Fred Matiangi will make a political comeback ahead of the 2027 general elections? Fred Matiangi must be regretting politically. I want to give you all those details. Fred Matiangi endorsing President William Ruto for the 2027 general elections. You know, some times back, Azimio started some rumors that Fred Matiangi has landed a top job in the United Nations. But all was a lie. Fred Matiangi is in the country and is very, very silent politically. So before I give you the details, just a quick reminder that if you are listening to me and you haven't subscribed, I'm requesting you to please just take 1 second or 2 and subscribe to this channel. You can also give this video a like. If you do that, YouTube will recommend this channel and this video in particular to reach out to others, because the only way that we can improve this channel to grow is by subscribing. To all those who have already subscribed and they are listening, they are watching, I want to appreciate you, because without your support, this channel cannot be where it is. That is why I don't take the support for granted. So first of all, I want you to remember this. For Fred Matiangi to make a political comeback ahead of the 2027 general elections, he does not need Uhuru Kenyatta. Uhuru Kenyatta is already retired politically. There's no way that Uhuru will assist him. Fred Matiangi does not need Raila Odinga at all. In fact, Raila Odinga will be campaigning for the African Union Commission top job, a position that we are not sure of if Raila Odinga will get it or not. Fred Matiangi will not need Kalonzo Musyoka. There's no way Kalonzo Musyoka will help Fred Matiangi. So the only person Fred Matiangi needs is President William Samoei Arap Ruto. I'm saying this because Fred Matiangi at this particular stage, we don't expect him to vie for any political seat unless it is the presidential seat. Not even the governor, not even the senator. Or Fred Matiangi will need William Ruto to appoint him to lead a certain department in government. So basically my point here is the only person who has remained in power who can rescue Fred Matiangi ahead of the 2027 general elections is President William Ruto. I also want you to have a look at the political chemistry, history between William Ruto and Fred Matiangi in the Jubilee Party just before Raila Odinga came in with the handshake. It was really, really perfect. In fact, according to the reports, it was President William Ruto himself who proposed to Uhuru Kenyatta that Fred Matiangi should be appointed as the CS for Interior. So Fred Matiangi, because he worked with William Ruto before, working with William Ruto again, it will be very, very easy. He will not need that much to convince William Ruto. And finally, post-2027 general elections, Fred Matiangi has to work with William Ruto closely to prepare himself ahead of William Ruto's retirement. Like for example, Musalia Mudavadi currently, even Rigathi Gachagua, they are working with William Ruto but also preparing themselves to vie for the presidency after William Ruto retires. Kalonzo Musyoka also is on the race. So if Matiangi wants to be on the safer side politically, let him work with William Ruto so that he can prepare himself for a higher position. That is it. I don't know what to think. What can you say about Fred Matiangi? Next political move. Do you think that Fred Matiangi can work with William Ruto again after their fallout? I want to know your thoughts and your opinions in the comment section down below. Otherwise, I don't have much. Thank you so much for listening. Thank you so much for watching. Let me see you again in my next video analysis. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel. My name is Jason. Bye bye and have a good night.